Pennsylvania and Delaware. We'll review a little bit here where we got yesterday. So Miss Barr, I would like you to tell me who one of the most remarkable founders of colonies in the New World was. William Penn. And he was the son of an admiral in the Royal Navy, and his life changed forever after he heard a Quaker sermon one day in 1667. And after hearing that sermon, he joined a group whose official name was what, Mason? What was the official name of the group he joined?
Society of Friends.
Society of Friends, which we often refer to now as Quakers. Okay? Now, was Penn's father thrilled to death, Will, about his choice to become a Quaker?
No.
No, he didn't really like it at all. But what did he do, Buck? He accepted it, left him a large amount of inheritance, and part of that inheritance that William Penn got from his father was the debt that King Charles II had owed his father. And instead of giving him money, Shania, what did he give him? A great big land grant in the New World. Now, that's where we ended yesterday, right? So what William Penn has gotten from the inheritance of his father was a large land debt. Yes? Yes, because there's no IDs. Yeah.
How exactly does the king
Well, you know, it's really hard to say. I don't know the answer to that. It's really hard to say what the debt was. But somehow down the line, maybe before he became king, he owed him a debt of some kind. And as king, he had the ability to pay that back with land. It's hard to say. I really don't know. I don't know if that's something you can find or not. In the history books I studied, I've never really found an answer to that, but I haven't looked for quite a while on that. But I'll take a look at it and see, okay? But he did. Good question. Now, when you are given a land grant, when Penn was given this land grant from his father because it was owed to him by King Charles II, he becomes the full owner of the land. Another name for that is, Carly? Get your blue sheet out. Okay, if I give Carly, if all of a sudden I feel like I'm going to give Carly a big land grant, what does she become? She becomes the owner, or? Very good, proprietor, or proprietor. So this was a little bit different than that of the old times, okay? Because he was given the land. He becomes the full owner or proprietor of that land. And what he did with that land is he founded a colony which the king named Pennsylvania. Okay? So, on this big land grant that was given to William Penn by his father, which was an inheritance, part of which was a debt from King Charles II, he took this land, founded a colony, and the king took it upon himself, even though he owned the land, to call it Pennsylvania.
Is it still King Charles II?
In this instance, yeah. Now, since this was a debt repaid, William Penn's power in Pennsylvania was just as much as the king's power. In other words, this wasn't a royal colony under the control of the king. This was a royal colony under the control of William Penn. Okay? Now, if you were owning Pennsylvania, take a look at this right here. You got Pennsylvania right here, right? Now, this New Jersey's already taken. New York's already taken. All this is taken. What doesn't Pennsylvania have that everybody else has?
coastline?
Very good, a coastline. So, in order to get this coastline, William Penn was thinking forward. What he did is he got another land grant in 1682. Okay, he obtained another grant of land. Who did he get it from? The king. Gave it to him, a little different deal. In 1682, which was on a bay along the coast. And the area became, the bay he was on was Delaware Bay in the present state of Delaware. So what has happened here is this little tiny stretch of land we know today as Delaware. William Penn, since he had no coastline, got another grant of land from the king, and he got it right on Delaware Bay, which is right here, and formed this colony, which became known as Delaware. So we got Pennsylvania and Delaware both.
Under the control of Penn.
Very good, thank you. Now, this is kind of interesting. Little different than, the Dutch trying to settle they got all this land and they wanted to bring over patroons and have people come over and work the land for a stipend. And it didn't work very good for them, did it? So what was Penn's ingenious idea to get people to move into the area known as Pennsylvania and Delaware? What did he do? He gave them free land, no attachments. In other words, I'm going to give you this land. You can have, if you come over here, I'm going to give you a piece of land, no attachments. You can have it just for coming. And now, if you want additional land other than what I gave you, I'll sell you some if you will promise me to establish your home in the colony. You'll stay in the colony and make it your home. So he made it clear to people in England, hey, I got this great deal for you. I've got this land we call Pennsylvania and Delaware, and if you come over here, I'll just give you some free land. And he didn't give them a ton, probably, right? But he gave them enough to entice them to come over there, and then said, hey, and by the way, if you promise to make this your home and build a home here, promise to stay here, I'll let you buy some more if you want. It was very, very successful. Pennsylvania attracted many new settlers with Penn's offer of free land and the right to buy additional land if they would establish their home there. Now, this was unlike other places, because where would you think most of the people that came to Pennsylvania came from? England. Actually, he wasn't particular. He let people pour in from many other areas. And I'm going to give you 6 different type of people that took Penn up on his offer and moved to Pennsylvania and into Delaware. Okay? So it wasn't just Englishmen. He didn't care. Anybody from Europe that wanted to come over and settle, he let do that. So who do you think he got? Who were his number one buyers, so to speak? What type of Englishman?
Netherlands.
What?
Quakers.
Who says?
Oh, he said Quaker.
Who did?
I said Quakers.
Okay, Quakers. Very good. So Quakers from England, Wales, and Ireland. You know what Wales and Ireland are, by the way?
Ireland.
What are Wales and Ireland?
Ireland's
Ireland and Great Britain.
They're part of Great Britain now, okay? So it isn't just, there's England, there's Wales, and there's Ireland. Who's the most famous Irishman you know in American history?
You?
Other than St. Patrick. John Kennedy was Irish. His descendants come from Ireland, okay? So anyway, Quakers, number one, the people that came in from many areas, Quakers from England, Wales, and Ireland. That's the first group of people that came in. That makes sense, doesn't it? That'd be your first guess, that people from England, Wales, and Ireland that were Quakers would come. Does that mean that he only let Quakers come? Do you think he had a freedom of religion there? Okay. Number two, he let Scotch, Irish, Presbyterians come in. I better spell that.
How do you spell
I don't even know how to spell it, so I'm going to spell it for you.
that? Irish?
Did I get that spelled right? No, A-N-S. What are they? Yeah, Scotch, Irish. So where'd they come from? Scotland and Ireland, okay? They were Scotch, Irish. So he's got Quakers from England, Wales and Ireland. Number two, he's got Scotch, Irish, Presbyterians. What's Scotch, Irish mean? Are they all Scotch?
No.
Are they all Irish?
No.
They got together. Okay? Scotch Irish Presbyterians were another group that came over and took advantage of it. Where were most of the Protestants from in Europe at this time? Germany and Switzerland. So Swiss, and, did you say Switzerland?
Yes. I said Germany.
Yeah. Swiss and German Protestants came over. Protestants.
Sure.
It's like it sounds. Protestants. So Swiss and German Protestants. What other religion came over from many different European countries? At one time, almost all of Europe was this religion. Catholics, very good. Catholics from all across Europe, number 4. Catholics from all across Europe. Now, here's one C. This might be worth a shirt. Now I'm going to ask you specifically, Nick. What other religion, I don't know if it quite goes along with Catholics, but it was pretty predominant, not as popular as Catholics by any stretch, from all over Europe. What other religious people came over from all over Europe besides Catholics? I'm going to give you the first chance. Does anybody else that hasn't got a shirt have?
Yes.
Okay, do you have a shirt, Blaine?
No.
Okay, what do you think?
Orthodox.
Orthodox what? Who said it over here? Do you have a shirt, Gracie? Orthodox Jews. So Jewish people. Jewish people. What size you want, Gracie? I never ask a woman their size. Medium or large? Always say, what do you want?
I don't care.
They're going to shrink a little.
I'll take a large.
Not a girl, that's what I would.
They're 100%.
That shirt right up there is mine. Guess what size it is? Double X. Okay, so Jews from many countries in Europe. Jews, that was number 5. This will be worth a shirt too, so let's just back up. We got one more. Quakers from England, Wales, and Ireland. Scotch, Irish Presbyterians, Swiss and German Protestants, Catholics from many countries in Europe, and Jews from many countries in Europe. What other group ended up going over there? Just leave it at that. Will, you got a shirt?
No.
You don't? Okay, what?
Lutherans?
Nope. Now, Beth, this could be your deal.
You got it in one.
You don't have an answer? Not even a bad guess? Shh. What other types of people came over?
Wait, is it a religion?
I'm not going to say. Maybe.
I'll be on that.
Maybe they had religious views. Now, Beth,
Thinking.
I know, I'm going to give you time. We got all day.
The leprechaun. I don't know.
I'm going to have to really work to get you a shirt because you're kind of shy, Beth. Kroger's over there going crazy. Have you got a shirt, Kroger? I'm going to give you. Anybody else want to take a shot? Because he did screw up once already. Okay, Blaine.
Muslims.
No. Now I got a shirt.
Is it slaves?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, sure. Africans. Africans.
Well, what kind of Africans? Like Middle Africans or North Africans? People were actually like
Africans. You gotcha. Whoop, I gave you the wrong one. Hey, Gracie, did I give you a 60
If
shirt?
you want to get technical, North Africans.
I don't want to give you the wrong one.
Yep.
Yeah, throw it back.
Throw it back. Moroccans.
Real vendor material, right in the ball. You get a chance. Africans, now. There wasn't a lot of Africans, or black population was very small, but slavery was legally recognized in Pennsylvania in 1700. 1700. So, what type of settlers poured into Pennsylvania and Delaware? Quakers from England, Wales, and Ireland. Number 2, Scottish, Irish Presbyterians. 3, Swiss and German Protestants. 4, Catholics from all across Europe. 5, Jews from across Europe. And 6, Africans who came in. Very small population, but it was legally recognized in 1700. Did Penn stick around in Pennsylvania and live the rest of his life? No, he went back to England. And after his death in 1718, who doesn't have a shirt yet? After his death in 1718, who kept the colony intact and people happy? Okay, Will, do you have a shirt yet?
No.
Okay, what is it? Who did?
Was it King Charles II?
Nope.
Why not?
You got a shirt yet? Hannah? And who was Hannah? Shh. Who was Hannah? Who was Hannah? You only have so many women in your life, Hannah. There you go! McKendry's come through in the clutch. What size do you want, Hannah? Hannah Penn? Hannah Penn was William Penn's wife, who after his death in 1718 kept the colony intact and all of its people happy. A very, very successful colony. The most successful colonies that we've talked about thus far were those under the leadership of William Penn and his wife Hannah Penn. You won't forget that on the test, I'll bet. Okay, that'll take us to our last subtopic of this test material, which is the middle colonies in the 1750s. Mr. Shriver makes a very good point. He thought maybe I missed something on the IDs. This just happens to be a subtopic that doesn't have any IDs to it. Okay? The middle colonies in the 1750s. So I'm just going to give you kind of a rundown and a summary of the middle colonies in 1750. And guess what we're going to have tomorrow? A review. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, let's talk about the middle colonies. By the 1750s, the middle colonies were very prosperous. Very prosperous. And from the beginning until the 1750s, Wolfington, you got a t-shirt yet? Okay, I'm going to give you the shot of the century here. By the 1750s, the middle colonies are very prosperous. From the beginning to the 1750s, how did the middle colonies make their living? This was the big money maker for the colonies. Shh. Wolfington, you get the first shot.
Okay, I guess. Sea trade with England by some sort of, I don't know.
Okay, now I'm going to help you out here. That may be true, but what led to the sea trade? What were they doing that led? You can't ship nothing. So what profession or what are they doing to make that money to ship? What are they doing? What's the main occupation of people in Pennsylvania that they're making all this money on? What? Other than lumber, Wolfington. What? Farming! Holy moly, farming! So, farming. Farming is how they made their money, which led to the lumber trade, which led to the shipping. But the main thing that they were making their living on until the 1750s was farming. Now, who do they have to contend with, probably, for that farmland? The Indians. And they had great relations with the Indians, great peaceful relations. So their farms were scattered freely all over the countryside. Pennsylvania is a pretty big area, if you look at it. Delaware, not so much. But there were farmlands all over Pennsylvania because the Indians were willing to share. They had a very peaceful relationship with the Indians there. So they had farms scattered all over the countryside. What about the soil in Pennsylvania? What do you guess it was? Very fertile, easy to farm. And so they were so proficient at farming, they not only could feed themselves, but as Kylie said in a roundabout way, they could send things off and sell to other colonies or even back to Europe. So they were very, very prosperous. They had great farmland. The soil was very fertile. The land was very, very easy to farm. So people in the middle colonies produced enough food for their own needs and many extras as well to sell. Now, Durant, have you got a shirt yet?
No.
Okay. The middle colonies, because of their success, became known as the what of the New World, as harbors of Philadelphia and New York were always filled with ships. When something becomes the center of something, another term for it is becomes the old-fashioned term. Okay, now hang on. So I'll read this to you again. Here's a fill-in-the-blank question. The middle colonies soon became known as the blank of the New World, as harbors of Philadelphia and New York were always filled with ships because they were shipping all this farming stuff off.
The heart?
Okay, but another name for the heart, you're about there. 2 words. 2 words. I'm gonna give you a little time, then I'm gonna Shriver because he's driving me insane. You don't have a shirt? You do? Blake, you don't have a shirt?
I'll give it to her.
Soraya?
Is it the trade center?
No. It's a more common term. I mean, it's not so fancy. It's kind of an old-fashioned term. Okay? So I'll read again. The Middle Colonies soon became known as the blank of the New World, as the harbors of Philadelphia and New York were always filled with ships.
2 words?
2 words. Start with the same letter. Duran, I'm busting my butt here.
Which
Give me a letter.
letter? Yeah, give us the letter.
So within the first 5 letters of the alphabet. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. Go!
Bread basket.
Bread basket! Bread basket!
I've never heard of that before.
You've never heard of that? Let me tell you why you've never heard of that. Because you are young and I am old.
I've heard it before.
It was called the bread basket of the Middle Colonies. That's where everything happens. It's like the basket where the good bread has been cooked and available. It's a good thing. Okay, what would be, if you had to pick right now, let's make a comparison. Let's talk about girls basketball. What would be considered maybe the 3A, what would be the 3A bread basket of girls basketball?
Powell.
Powell probably at this time, right? Didn't they win the state